Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome Colin Goodman
He's the runner, running 108 miles again.
and Andrew Goodman.
He's Andrew, the crewman, Goodman.
This is Idiots Go Running, Season 3, Episode 21, Colin's 108-mile Ultramarathon, Part 1.
Well, Colin, how are you today? The time is 5 to 5 on Saturday, the 7th of June, 2025. And this is a long intro. Look, you're rubbing your nose. You're bored already, so you are.
Of course, I am. You're not a news broadcaster, Andrew. Let's just jump into it. I'm fine, Andrew. I'm fine. How are you?
Well, I'm the best too. I was going to say, it's a week ago today that you did the Northern Ireland 100. And I was kind of building it up that way, but you threw that out the window. You just looked bored.
I was bored. You didn't need to give the big, today is 5 to 5 on Saturday. My name's Andrew. And Andrew, let's just crack on.
You want to start
Andrew.
again?
No, that's fine. No, it's beautiful. Andrew, how are you?
I'm the very best, Colin. If you're watching this podcast, you'll see I'm wearing my Idiots Go Running hoodie and my Idiots Go Running crewman's hat.
Andrew Goodman, the crewman.
No, it's Andrew the crewman, Goodman, Colin. Colin, I haven't been on the podcast in a while. Have you noticed that? Has anyone else noticed that I have not been on the podcast for a while? You do a lot of guest interviews. I have my wee question, but I'm back. I'm back. Maybe a bit rusty, Colin, but I'm back.
Oh, you're definitely rusty. And the thing about you being back is I had a break as well, Andrew. So over the past month, leading up to my big 108 mile with you being the crewman, I had to take a break to get my head in gear, Andrew, to get my training right, to get the final prep right, to make sure I didn't mess anything up. And I thought I nailed it leading up to the event, Andrew.
Yeah, I think you had, Colin. You were training hard. Should maybe jump in at this point and say, people might be asking, Andrew, you did it last year with Colin. Why did you not sign up to do the 100 miler this year? Do you want to answer that? Or suppose maybe I should, because as it's me.
You had if I answer, it'll be shorter. You had so much fun and you thought you couldn't have any more fun, so you didn't do it. Is that right?
I had a phenomenal experience last year. Loved every second of it. But this year, Colin, you trained, didn't you? I think it's fair to say you trained and you wanted to push yourself to see how well you could do in this event.
I did, Andrew. I did. So first month, roughly about 170 miles around. Second month, 200 miles. Third month, Andrew, I had my Ocrevus infusion for MS. So that knocked out a week. So it went up to about 180. Then there was a 200. And so I was really hitting the plus 200 miles, Andrew, for the first 4 months of the 4 months
Every
a year.
month?
Yeah. On average, it was about 200 miles. I think it worked out.
That's unbelievable. If people's curious, I've ran, I don't know the monthly breakdown, but since the whole year up to now, it's 63 miles, Colin. 63 miles.
3 miles this year.
That's maybe another reason why I didn't sign up. I'm just a lot of rest days this year, Colin. A lot of rest days.
Andrew,
and 27 of them, Colin, 27 of them were in Greece. So half my run wasn't even in this country.
But that's a heavy load for a crewman.
Do you know what? Andrew, the crewman, good man. He shows up when required. I think that's good training for a crewman. Probably.
I think it is.
Probably more than most. Do you want to know something exciting, Colin? Speaking of the crewman.
Go for it.
We're not going to go... I don't think we're going to touch too much on this podcast about me crewing. Maybe we will. But do you know what I filmed while crewing you, Colin? In between, if I had a little bit of time, do you know what I did?
Well, Andrew, I didn't see loads of the camera, so I think you might have filmed more than me.
I know I didn't really film that much here because I was going to do, the way we do, like, daft stuff and whatnot. But I thought, no, I need to concentrate on you to be the best crewman I can be. I was going to focus on you and leave all the silliness. That didn't last too long. So when I had a wee bit of downtime, I got my camera out and I started doing what I'm calling the Crewman Chronicles, coming within the next week or so to YouTube. Idiots Go Running, the Crewman Chronicles, how to crew a 100-mile ultramarathon race with Andrew, the crewman Goodman.
Andrew, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. I'm not even just
You
saying.
haven't,
You mentioned
you haven't
this to
seen
me.
it, Colin. You haven't. You
No.
can't say it's brilliant when you haven't seen it.
No, you mentioned this to me the other day, and I thought everyone has a running podcast, but no one has a crewman podcast. We're breaking barriers. We're breaking boundaries. You know, these guys, like, we get all the glory, Andrew. Us runners get all the glory, crossing the line, cheering, people hugging us, thinking them guys are amazing, and the
These
crewmen.
are the crew
The crew,
men, the crew women, the crew people. You know what I mean? They don't really get a look in. I'm making nearly what you'd call a mockumentary of crewing, or at least my experience of crewing. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got a jingle, Colin. Believe it or not, I've got a
got a
jingle.
jingle.
And,
Oh, so
yeah.
so Andrew,
So
you
getting
seem.
back to sorry, what are you
I was
about
about
to
to
say?
say, you seem to always steal the show. I go to all these events and people are going, "Where's Andrew? Where's Andrew? How's his jelly? How's this? How's that?" Now people will be going, "Where's Andrew, the crewman, good man?" That's what they're going to be saying to me next time, Andrew. Where's Andrew, the crewman, good man? He is coming to a race near you if I'm running, probably.
So that's coming soon. Look out for that. There'll be a wee announcement on the podcast. But Colin, you did train hard for this event.
I did.
Last Friday, we went up to Mum and Dad's caravan. We're a bit behind schedule when we got there, weren't we?
Yeah, so our parents have a caravan, and as I
Half
say,
an hour from the start line. Great
half
location.
an hour, perfect spot. Everything's good to go, and on our way up, we start behind schedule, Andrew.
That's your fault, partly. You were
Well,
half an hour late to my house.
we're not going to point fingers at anyone, Andrew. We don't point fingers in this show, but it wasn't my fault. But yeah, so we got the Andrews and we got the car packed as you do. And your daughter Abigail gave us an idiot school running dance rendition, which I told people about, and it was fantastic. We jumped in the car, we got on our way.
Before that, Colin, before that, the hoodie.
Oh.
You give me this hoodie.
Oh, I'll give
Like,
you the
this is
hoodie.
a lovely. Like, if you can't see it, there's a logo in the back. There's a logo in the front and then in the
Can
back.
you can you turn around? So I'm with the idiot school running crew. An idiot in need is an idiot indeed. So that is Andrew's, and then you pulled out of the drawer. You said, "Colin, I've also got a bit of custom merch." Andrew has the idiot's crew. What's it say in your hat? There's too much
just
masking tape.
It's got crew. So it's my baseball cap. And at the last minute, literally the last minute. So Colin, I'm not going to lie. I was trying to be the best crewman I could. I watched 2 YouTube videos on how to crew. Okay.
Yep.
So I think I should have watched more, but I was happy. I had a lot of experience from last year's event where people were so kind to us. And then I thought, I need a hat. I got the hat and I thought, I need to support you more. So I very quickly generated this hat, or this. I printed out a bit of paper and I stuck mask. I just what I
You
do.
put masking tape.
just
You
put
put masking tape. Yeah. So your hat, absolutely brilliant. And then we were on our way, Andrew, to the North Coast. And
Hours drive, glorious.
an hour's drive. Stopped in Asda because I need to pick up a few things. And right beside the
There's a
Asda, Andrew,
supermarket here.
they built this new beautiful restaurant, and it's just it's placed
Oh.
perfectly. And
Oh.
we looked at it and we thought, oh, is it too
You
early?
need to-
Is it too early in the run to fuel?
No, it was a nice restaurant, Colin. It was a nice. So we decided to not go into it. Use the drive-through of this new restaurant, and I said, "Colin, this is on me." And what did you get?
Andrew, well, before you said this is on me, I said, don't worry, Andrew, I got points. So McDonald's, so everyone knows we went to McDonald's. It's there, it's handy, and I know we'll be getting it the next day. But we went to McDonald's and I had these points. I had enough points for my plant burger, Andrew, and I thought 4,000 points. Click. Oh, that's okay. That's all good. And I showed it to woman or man, was it a guy? And he took took my code. I went on to Andrew's. And Andrew paid full price for McDonald's, and I wasted my points. So thank you very much, Andrew. You lost all my points.
It's not my fault. They tapped in the points thing, and we paid for the stuff. And I said, Colin, I think I paid full price for that.
You did.
And you said,
I went to turn to the person who was giving us the food to say, 1 wee second, I think you've, and as I said that, Andrew drove on. He said,
Colin,
what's she going to do? What's she going to do? These you got to give her points back. Andrew,
and
I lost 4,000 points. 4,000 of my Mickey D's points.
I know, Colin, but we're behind time. I had a McChicken sandwich. I was hungry. I didn't want to start talking to
Sorry,
the girl.
we were behind time.
We're behind time.
Fast forward 20 minutes when you finish your food, and I get out of the car and have to take a photograph of you standing in front of McDonald's. But yeah, we're tight. We're tight. Don't worry about Colin's points. As long as we get Andrew's hoodie in front of McDonald's.
Well, but as I said to you, you didn't have to pay for it, so I paid for it. So I know you lost points, but you weren't going to pay for it anyway. You still didn't pay for it, so you got your burger thing with no payment.
But then I owe you. I owe you.
No, because I said it was on me.
I know, but when people say it's on me, it's on me. But when people say that, it's like, oh, I'll
And a
have to get the
crewman.
next one.
When a crewman says it's on him, it's on him.
From the Crewman Chronicles. So yeah, so we went on and we got to the caravan and everything was good and the car was parked up and we were in I think I was in my pajamas, Andrew. I looked at it and I said, Andrew, the gate of the caravan site, it's locked. It's fully locked, padlocked. You can't get out before a certain time. And you were like, oh, good one, Colin. So you had to go and park the car in the outside car park because if it was inside the caravan site, we would not have been able to drive to the start line.
We would have been in big trouble. So that was a good call.
That's a great call.
I don't remember what time we went to bed at last year, but it was very, very, very early.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in bed for 8 this year, 8 p.m. You wanted to be in bed for 9.
Yep.
We end up in bed at 5 past 10.
5 past 10. That was too late, Andrew.
It was too late.
Because
Crewman needs to sleep.
The crewman needs to sleep. Because the next morning we were getting up and we had to be away by what time were we leaving the site at? Did we work out? Half 6?
No, half six. And we left at 6:45. I couldn't get the fridge, the caravan turned off.
So I get all my stuff down to the car, my toothbrush, my everything sitting at the car. So I'm down in this car park. It's so many meters away anyway, but you can't see the caravan. And I'm standing outside the car, don't have keys, with my toothbrush and another bag in my hand going, where is he? What's going on?
I should have been there. I should have been seconds, but Colin, I couldn't get the fridge turned off. And
but then I rang him and he goes, I can't get the fridge turned off. I said, Andrew, it's okay. Let's just close the fridge over and well, that's future Andrew and Colin's problem. But no.
I know, but the electric was off in the caravan, so it would have been draining the battery. So,
it's every year. Last year was the same, Andrew. Last year
was a bigger mess. I know. I can't remember what it was.
Last year the electrics were all going haywire in the van, and you couldn't get the heating on in the middle of the night, and you kept me up in the middle of the night. This year, like
you got the big bed this year. Crewman let you have the big bed. Is that correct? Well, didn't play rock paper scissors. Didn't want to didn't want to embarrass you. Just you were the one needing it, so I gave you it, Colin. And then we did hit the road 15 minutes behind schedule. We got there 7:15. The race started at 8.
Yes, so 8 o'clock, Andrew. Yes, the race was due to start at 8 o'clock. Last year it started later. This year, I think Gary had moved the signing in times on, so it gave him more time. Is that nice what you're eating, Andrew, by the way? What is it?
You'll have to excuse me. From the Kinder thing.
Oh, is that the ones you bought for the event?
Nope. They're different. They were hippopotamuses. Kinder hippopotamuses. Or Kinder hippos, if you will. So just before you came, I was late in, so I thought I'd grab this and I didn't have time to eat it. So you nipped off for like 2 seconds, and I thought that was my chance, kind of one more bit.
What is it? What animal is this, Kinder?
It's just like a Kinder bar.
Oh, they're nice, them ones. They go well with a cup of coffee. Anyway, so yeah, starting line, and Andrew, you okay? You're still going. You're still drinking and eating stuff. Ultimate professional, refilling after being the crewman. So we got the start line.
Sorry to interrupt. Remember in the early days we used to watch Champions League football I used to watch Champions League football.
Yeah.
Won't have to worry about European watching football next season, will I?
No.
And that'll be the end of that conversation. So we had a clock, Colin, with 45 minutes. 45 minutes, Colin.
Uh-huh.
It was a lovely day. It was due to get for heavy, heavy rain for several hours on a Saturday, but it was actually a lovely morning. Beautiful morning.
Yeah. Yep. And the half marathon was starting at the same time as the ultra marathon, and they were starting in the same place, and it was a different location this year. So it's a place where the Carrigarie Road Bridge, there's a car park there, and they filmed Game of Thrones in this area. So it's a big quarry. So it's brilliant. Last year we started on the road, went down onto the coastal path. This time you're straight onto the coastal path. There's no mucking about. And we lined up, and safety stuff got said, all that stuff. We seen people there, seen Paul, seen another
You had a few
Paul,
chats. You got your bag
Paul,
checked.
yeah,
Checked. You got the
Geraldine,
yes
Ross.
in your bag.
The thing was actually really comfy this year. I think it was smaller, Andrew. It was a
Good.
better one.
Good.
But yeah, so all ready to go, ready, feeling great, Andrew. I just turned up to that, and I was on fire. I felt absolutely fantastic.
You say that, but
Oh, I forgot.
when you woke up, I said, "Colin, how are you?" And you said something. You told me you were dizzy. And
I
if you
have to
tell
tell
me
you.
you're dizzy, well, you have to tell me. An ultra runner has to tell the crew man what the crack is, to know what he expects. But you
I
were
forgot
dizzy
about
when you
that.
woke up, and I
I
said,
was.
"Do you often get dizzy when you wake up?" And you said,
No. So I woke up that morning, and I thought it was just an earlier start, right? And I was a wee bit shaky on my feet, a wee bit dizzy. I don't know why. And
"You don't
I
know
did,
if it was you don't know if it's an MS thing. You don't know if it's a feeling sick thing."
or it's, the past week I had a touch of a sore head. So yes, I still had a touch of a sore head and stuff. I felt a wee bit dizzy. I just wasn't perfect that morning. Okay. And so I wasn't gonna tell you, because you're Mr. Warrior and you'll be sitting there going, I wonder if Colin's okay. But I did tell you, and you said that's
Yeah.
okay. And you actually didn't sound like you worried too much. But when we got there, Andrew, I think all the
'Cause it
hype,
wasn't
all the people,
yeah.
everything there, it was fine. I was fine. I forgot about good shout. I forgot about that bit. So we started the race, Andrew, and I always had the plan to start faster than I expected. Ultra marathons, people are probably going, you start off slow and you get slower. Well, this one, there's rocks in it. There's a half marathon coming behind us, and I didn't want the and there's trestles that you have to climb over on the coastal path. So I didn't want to get caught in any queues. So I thought I'll just shoot off with the first ones. Usually I just hang back and just mosey on. Andrew got down, got over the rocks, over the beach. I was feeling good. Got into Port Rush and started to get a bit of a sore head.
Port Rush now. Port Rush would probably be what
The 15 to 20 miles.
it's after the half marathon, so probably be about 15 miles in at this stage. I would imagine.
15 miles in. Started to get a bit of a sore head. And then the stomach started to play up. And I had a plan. I had a plan of going with carb drinks and the gels. And this was my plan. Just carb drinks and gels the whole way. And then I found a public toilet, Andrew. And I thought, happy days, there's a public toilet. Andrew, I went in to the public toilet, and my stomach, let's just say, was not right. We'll leave it there. We'll not give you all the gory details. And at this stage, Andrew, I was quite high enough up the field. I walked out of the public toilet, and I think there was 3 people ahead of me. And then I was like, oh, wow. I didn't realize I wasted that much time. 3 people then jogging
And three
on ahead of me.
people overtook you while
3
you were
people
in.
overtook me. So I think that got in my head, Andrew. And then I'm just continuing to jog, going, I do not feel great. I feel a bit light in my feet. I don't feel right. I just didn't feel right. And you met me with a coffee and a protein ball at that stage.
So just to fill people in, I would have met you maybe, this could have been my 3rd or 4th time. I was trying to meet you every hour, roughly, in or around.
Yeah.
You had very nicely put in what 3 words is a brilliant thing everyone should use, where it's an exact location where you wanted me to meet you. So I had met you, this is maybe the 3rd, maybe the 4th, something like that, where I had given you water and given you different things. You would say to me, Andrew, next stop, water and gel, next stop, whatever. So I had bought you a coffee. I said in the last place, do you want a coffee? And I came with you with a coffee, and I thought I'd treat you to a vegan protein ball, which looked delicious, by the way.
It did look nice, and we'll see where that one came up. And then I said, Andrew, walk with me for a minute, didn't I?
I did. You did. You did.
And
You
I
just
said-
weren't. You weren't yourself. You said you had a sore head. You said you felt sick, and you said you had went to the toilet, and you just weren't on good foot. You just weren't yourself, and you were a little down. You were a little
Yeah.
down at this stage. So you're maybe talking 16, 17 miles in probably at this stage.
Yeah, 16, 17 miles in. So that was me in my own head, mulling over what is going on with me. And then you left, went back to the car and meet me at the next spot.
I said, get
and,
to the aid station. The first aid station's 33 miles. I think you said to me, and I backed you up. I said, let's just get to the aid station and reevaluate things. Because did you have a goal going into this?
I wanted to hit sub 24 hours, Andrew, and that's a hard goal in this course. Okay, so
And that's
this
not
course
sub
has
24 for 100 miles. This is for the 108 miles. Now, bearing in mind, you were with me, but what did we do it in last year?
33 hours and 30 minutes.
So, what's that? Quick miles. You wanted to do it in
10 hours, basically 10 hours.
quicker. Well,
Yeah. 9 hours 30. I don't know. But yeah, so that was the plan. And at this stage, Andrew, my head went down and I was like, I ain't doing that. I ain't getting there. No chance. If I can get to this first, like, I was feeling horrible. I thought I have to just get to this first aid station, change my clothes, change my mindset, get some food in my belly, and then get it back out in the road again. And I had planned to bypass the aid stations as well because I've got
you
the
weren't
aid
even going
station.
to call in. I was the aid station for you. Every hour was an aid station for you.
I didn't need an aid station. I had Andrew in the car. Andrew, the crew
Andrew,
man,
the
good
crew
man.
man, good man.
So that was the plan. Came around the corner and Geraldine, I have to give a big shout out to Geraldine because she goes, "You okay, Colin?" I said, "Yeah." She was crewing another group, and she goes, "You're very pale." And I says, "Oh, believe me, I feel very pale." But I just, Andrew, head down, was I need to keep on moving. I turned back there and I said, "Do you have any flat Coke?" And she goes, "I don't, but I've Coke." And I didn't have really Coke in the car, did I? I don't think I had Coca-Cola in the car.
Not that stage. We
At that stage, I had no Coca-Cola. It wasn't in my pack. It wasn't in my plan. So my plan, Andrew, was unraveling. This wee thread was being pulled and things were unraveling at this stage. And my head was just in it. I was in my own pity party in my own head. And I drank that can of Coke, walked head down. People passed me. And my wee head was just down, nodding along. And I thought, let's get to Coleraine, past Coleraine, then let's get to the aid station. And long story short,
even said at
Andrew,
one stage, you were missing me, and I thought he's in trouble. He's in trouble.
oh, I'm in trouble. I'm missing Andrew.
me.
You know, when you've got Andrew beside you, you've got a reason to be slow. And
Oh,
I
you
even
do.
rang my wife.
You do.
I even rang my wife. That's how bad it got, Andrew. I picked up the phone and I rang Rachel. I said, "Rachel." She was like, "Oh no, this isn't going well." I said, "Rachel, I am in bits here. I'm sick. I've got a sore head. I'm just not feeling well." And Rachel, in her wee world back at home was going, "I'm not having the best time either, but I'm not saying anything." And I just needed that phone call from Rachel just to get my head through. She goes, "Get to the aid station," or something along those lines. So got to the aid station, Andrew.
Because just before they say what
Sorry.
makes it worse is that was the easy part of the race, Colin. What you were experienced was the easy part. Last year, ignorance was bliss. We did not know what we were going to come up against. You knew what you were up against, so that probably made it even worse, knowing that this was the easy part and the worst was really. It's not an easy race, this, Colin. It's a fantastic race, but it's not. It's challenging. You know, there's real hard bits in it. So that was probably playing your mind too, that you had to go through all these bits, feeling like this possibly.
This is my fast, but this is the fast part of the course. This is a course where you make your time and you lose it on the hills, Andrew. That's what this was. So 24 hours at this stage, 30 miles in, Andrew. 24 hours was a hope, a hope and a prayer for me. So that was in my head going, right. But we always said previously I had a goal and I didn't complete that goal and my head went down. This year, my goal was 24 hours, but this year we had a backup goal and a backup goal and a backup goal. So I was like, that's okay. On to the next one, change the plan. Let's get going. Let's move on. And that move on we did, Andrew. Started to pick up towards the first aid station. Still not feeling 100%. Got to the first aid station. Walked in, Andrew. Gary was looking at me, and I was in a daze. I was in my own head. I was in a daze. I hadn't spoke to people in ages.
So just so people know, Gary's the race director. So
Gary's We Run Wild, NI. And I was looking at him and he goes, people are going, sit down, Colin, what can I get you? What can I get you? And at that moment, all I wanted was an Andrew. I was like, Gary, where's Andrew? And Gary goes, I don't know, I haven't seen him. And I was like, Andrew, the crew man, good man. Anyway, rang him. He was just around the corner. That
I was sitting in the car just waiting for you, and I just
Yeah.
missed you. I
But
was
that's
just waiting
because
for you.
this wasn't part of the plan. This plan was developing as we were going.
That's it. You
And
weren't even meant to go into the aid station.
No, and that you were at the car. You were at the petrol station or the filling station in America, whatever you want to
Yep.
call it, down the road. So you had
Gas
to then
station, it could have been.
gas station.
Yeah, is
So
it?
then you had to come in to the aid station, and I said, Andrew, I need Nurofen, I need something, I need this, and then someone brought me Jillian brought me pasta. I had soup sitting beside me, had a tea, and I just sipped away. And you brought me my clothes, changed my clothes, Andrew, and then my head started to change. I started to feel better, got the Nurofen into me, and last year we were in that aid station for 45 minutes, Andrew. This year,
Oh,
10 to
10
15.
minutes. Not even 15. 10
Not
minutes.
even
you're in and
15.
out.
So
10 minutes
I,
in and out, Colin.
I knew in my own head to stay on track to get close to 24 hours. I need to get back out again. Andrew, I got back out, and again, people are still passing me, Andrew. People are still going past me. Colin's having his own pity party in his own head, saying, it's not turned out the way I want it to turn out, but I kept moving. And
And you were maybe a mile down the road, not even, and you phoned me to say, get me your what do you call them? Sticks, the walking sticks, the poles, trekking poles.
The trekking poles, Andrew, they're all walking
Here,
sticks.
that's at that stage you could have been doing with walking sticks. But I got
could've been
them
doing
to you, and I was a bit
Zimmer frame.
concerned. I won't lie.
Yeah,
And I
so-
gave you them. You were a different person there.
So
you were different. So you were
it was
you were
a
back,
mental
baby.
It was
You were
a
back.
mental. I was back, Andrew. It was a mental thing that I had sticks in my hand, that my legs weren't being tortured. So I had my sticks, everything was good, and I started going click, click, click. And there's something about trekking poles, Andrew, where it's a rhythmic click, it's the moving, it's taking the pressure off your legs. It's all these things that are amazing that about trekking poles that you take for granted. And I started moving again, Andrew, and then I started picking up my pace, and like I wasn't on hills or nothing. It was just paths at this stage.
Yep.
So skip on. We were going well, and I think in this second stage, so I had recce'd this second stage. We knew we were coming to wind farms and maybe
Well, even
harder.
before then, you were
Go.
going up that big hill with the kind of
Oh, I forgot
statue
about
thing.
that hill, Andrew.
You went up the big. Now this is a killer of a hill. This is a killer of a hill.
It's just never ending.
And I drove by you, and you had something that it was great because I knew you were well back by then. When you go out running, you normally have your phone with the music blasting, and it's so darn loud. And sometimes you do video messages, you can hardly hear your video messages because the phone. And you were like
I was
you were
singing,
back
Andrew.
before, but you were singing, you were dancing. You had a few pictures, a few poses, and whatnot. I sent you the photo last night. Epic pose. You were well back, Colin.
The music. Do you know what? The music picked me up, and I was singing along, shouting at people. As I went past people, I would give them a rendition of what I thought was an in-tune song, but it wasn't.
Oh, you didn't miss Andrew then. That's what you didn't have.
No. And then I got to the top of that hill. I got to the very top of that hill, and you were sitting over the car, and I went in the back of the
there,
car.
yeah.
I was eating Doritos. I was drinking Lucozade. I think I had Coca-Cola as well. You were refilling my bag.
I bought you Coke. Yep. So
I don't know how much money you spent in petrol stations, but
that's a crewman's job, Colin. A crewman
Andrew-
get your stuff in petrol stations or gas stations or filling
I
stations.
literally stood there, put my arms out, and you just put the bag in my back, clipped it in.
right.
I felt like a baby. Andrew. I felt like I was a toddler again, and my mummy and daddy were coming and clipping me in and tucking me in at night. That's how it felt. But anyway, I needed my arms, them trekking poles. I got up that hill, my arms were feeling it.
Just to jump in, the weather had any showers, any rain?
Did we?
Because we were. I don't think so because we were meant to have thunderstorms I mean thunderstorms for a few hours, and up to this point, the weather was still really, really nice, Colin. Now that it
weather
wasn't
was great.
scorching, it wasn't the sun wasn't splitting the trees, but it was real nice conditions.
It was good. There were some windy sections, Andrew. There were some windy sections.
Oh yeah,
There
there
were
was
some. There's
on
a bit
that
of
hill.
wind. Aye, there's a bit of wind flying about. But got top of the hill, Andrew. I was eating away. I started eating normal food again. My plan about all this carb stuff. I was like, Andrew, no more carbs, no more
Do you want
carb
to tell the
drinks.
bottle story, Colin?
Filled how many? 24 bottles. I
Well, I
well,
filled two.
I filled 22 bottles, and you filled 2 bottles as the crewman
So
does because you were trying to get the water working.
in the caravan. So the night before, Colin buys a 24 pack of water bottles, and he opened them all up and put, what did he put in it?
Voom.
Tailwind.
It's
Boom.
Voom and Tailwind and other stuff.
Boom,
Yeah.
and he would shake them up, and because I was doing other stuff, I only did two, so I had the whole boot full of 24 bottles of all these things. I think you took two of them, and you were like, "No, I just want plain water." Then I had to go and buy water too. Then so I did. So
And
and
then you had to
then
pour.
at the
Oh, yes, go
oh, we'll
on.
get to that bit. We'll get to that bit. And then at the top of that hill, I said, "Colin, do McDonald's time." I know
And
that's
he
not
goes,
the
Colin,
phrase, but
I won't see you for a while here because I'm away to get a McDonald's for you. What do you want? And I was like, oh, Andrew, I was hungry at this stage. 2 burgers, chips. I want that Coke with loads of ice in it, and I want a cup of
and a
tea.
tea.
I was Andrew. I was getting my points up. See if my points. I see if I had ordered that my points, I would have been able to get another plant burger after ordering mine and yours.
Do you
And
want to hear
you
some
said
good news, Colin? I use
go
my
for
app,
it.
we app, so I got your points. So I appreciate that. I was able to get points off your burgers.
And you owe me a plant burger points. You owe me 4,000 points. That's what you do.
Well, then you owe me 2 McPlant burger meals because I paid for them.
Sorry, the plant burgers were so. Anyway, let's just pass on. Let's call that evens. So what happened then? You said, Colin, I won't see you for a while, and I was like, that's okay. I'm good. I'm stocked. You put extra stuff in my bag. My bag was packed. I was feeling like Andrew. I was back. I was back.
Yeah,
And then we got to the main road, the exact same point as we got a McDonald's last year, Andrew. The
that's right.
exact same point, but this was midgie free. Why was it midgie free, Andrew?
Don't know. There was no midgies. If you don't know what midgies are, it's the wee flies that annoy you. They're so tiny. They're like dots. They go all over your face. Oh,
They're
horrendous.
itchy.
They are
They're itchy.
horrendous.
Do you know what? It's like do you ever get a haircut and the hair goes down your t-shirt and it's all itchy and it feels like that? That's what midges feel like in your hair and on the side of your neck and in your face. So they're that feeling, they're that itchy, irritable feeling. But this year, Andrew, like you were keeping track in time. You're going, come, what time did we get our McDonald's here last year at? And we were working at times. Like I was ahead of last year by so far.
It was ridiculous. What, 3
It's
hours?
powerful. Yeah.
3 hours, maybe more, 3.5 hours. I can't
And
quite remember now,
my
but it was
other-
a long time.
So I was taking 2 sets of tablets. I was taking painkillers every 4 hours, the Nurofen. So it stops inflammation and stops pain. Stop if I was getting headaches or pains in my legs. And I'd ordered these here. So people have salt sticks. You know the chewy salt tablets? I just ordered salt capsules. So I had like 100 salt capsules, and I would have taken 2 salt capsules every time to stop my body cramping up. So that was another wee thing which I brought in this year, which was a winner, Andrew, an absolute winner. Salt capsules, not the chewy ones, not the flavored ones. You just neck it, 2 bit of water, and then that's two things of salt.
I met you with the McDonald's. Now, at this stage, there was a few showers in that hour. There was a few showers, and just before I met you, there was a bit of a downpour. In and out, in and out. It wasn't
Yeah.
constant, but there was showers at this stage. I remember
And
that.
a bit of wind. It's still windy
Yep.
as well. And I remember, Andrew, a visual of me is that you drove up beside me, and I just said, Andrew, just one plant burger, because I didn't want to stop. I wasn't stopping to eat my plant burgers. I was eating these while walking, so I was eating them, and then Andrew drove past me. The window went down, and I literally just seen this hand out the side with a Coke bottle, with a bottle of Coke, a carton of Coke. And then I started drinking the Coke. It was brilliant, Andrew. Absolutely brilliant service. People have seen people see drive-throughs. This was drive-bys, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, Andrew. And the McDonald's, well, it was class. And I said, Andrew, I'm not going to eat that second burger. Save it.
Yep.
So
Yeah, but
I
did.
knew I had another burger, and I never did get to that cup of tea, Andrew. I apologize.
I know it was. I said there the whole time, so it did. I did notice that, but that was all right. That was all right.
And chips. There were chips as well, and the
There
chips.
was chips.
chips. I just took a few chips. I didn't want to eat the whole thing because I wanted to keep moving. It's hard to eat McDonald's while you're trying to move at the same time with dragon pools in your hand, so it is tricky.
And I have to say, at this stage, Colin, you were fairly consistent in or around probably 10th to maybe 14th-ish, maybe 12th.
Is that where it was? Yeah.
I think so. In or around this stage, you were always maybe not as low as 14,
Around
maybe
the 10.
just
Around the 10.
around 10. Maybe you would have went up, maybe touched 8, but it was always in around 10. And at this stage, I'm thinking top 10. Now we came 33rd and 35th or something last year.
Could have been further back than that, maybe. I think
no,
we were toward. Well, we're not.
We're quite near the end.
Well,
but
fine.
no,
I'll put it up here. I'll put it up here.
Check out. We'll check it out. So well, but it was, we were nowhere near last year, nowhere near. But you were consistently, you're in or around 10th place, and I thought, imagine getting top 10 in an event like this.
I was clawing it back, Andrew.
It would be amazing, because when you were ill, you were down to probably 20th, maybe in around that.
Was it?
Imagine,
I don't know.
Maybe,
I don't know myself.
maybe.
I don't know myself, Andrew, but I just know that the places that, like, my race was on a knife edge at the start in my head. Now, it's easy saying that now, but sometimes these things happen and you just have to figure it away and push through it. And that's where the plan changed, and just hang in there. You just got to hang in there and then hope for something to change. And it did.
At any point, did you think of calling it quits? Did it cross your mind? Did you think at one point?
Yeah. No, not calling it quits.
Not quits, but
just going,
you might not make it. Or
I don't know how I'm going to get the energy to get through this. I can't spend the next 20 to 30 hours like this. I think that was the problem. I can't be like this for the next 20 to 30 hours. But Ed the Jester was on the show.
Yeah.
You're probably thinking, where are you going with this, Colin? Ed the Jester was on the show. And he said to me, he goes, whenever he's in a run, sometimes he'll find someone, and someone who's having a worse day than him, and he'll talk to them and he'll focus on them. And he goes, it's kind of a selfish, unselfish way to do it. But Andrew, I came round the corner and it was close to after the McDonald's, and we bumped into, been on the show, Ross. Ross has been in previous podcasts.
Gent of a guy. No Jake
Brilliant
this year
guy.
with him.
No Jake this
Always
year.
Ross and Jake. No Jake.
Jake needs to his wife needs to give birth the week before for him to come, because that's what happened last year, Andrew. He's not, like, the week before his wife had given birth and he turns up at an event.
I have to say, I can't say much because I wasn't doing the event, but I turned up as a crew man. Jake, get together, sunshine. You could have crewed the man.
but Ross is the runner. Ross digs in deep. He does all different things. He does a lot of running, a lot of other sports. I seen him today. He was out cycling, Andrew, or yesterday. And
the amazing thing with Ross was he was in our wee group last year.
Yeah.
So if you were several hours ahead of last year, Ross was equally several hours ahead of last year.
Ross was brilliant because I met him at the marathon, Andrew, as well. Ross bumped up beside me at the marathon. We were chatting at the marathon while we were running at the start of it. And I came across Ross, and he was being crewed by two of his mates. And I was like, Ross, how's it going? He goes, I thought I'd know my way. This was his third year doing it, Andrew. He goes, I thought I'd know my way, Colin, and I didn't bring a GPS watch with me. And I was like,
that's an interesting tactic, Colin.
I didn't say it out loud, but I thought, Ross, are you mental? But anyway, so Ross was like, he's like, I think he kind of said, can I run with you or something? Now, at that stage, I'd ran past him. I said, look, Ross, I'm heading down this way. Catch up with me, and then we'll run together. And after this bit, I think we were starting to hit the rigged hill wind farm and stuff, Andrew. It was coming round the corner.
So the wind farm, yes, because I met you just before you headed up to that bit. So this is before then.
Yeah, this is just before the wind farm. The wind farm, for anybody listening, it's a bit of a climb to get up to it. Okay, and you hit the wind farm.
We were there at 11 p.m. last year. We hit it
11 p.m. and plan this year. And plan was still kind of half going to plan, Andrew. I needed to be here in the daylight because it's hard to navigate and you're looking for sticks. So the sticks are about 4 foot high, that's given it, maybe 3.5 foot high. And shout out to Gordon Glenn, who turned up before the event, the week before, went around and put new reflective strips on all of them things.
What a guy.
Off his own bat, Gordon Glenn.
He's a legend
Fantastic.
of a guy. This is the 4th time he was doing it.
Fourth time he
competitor.
was doing it. And brilliant guy. So he went up the week before. I think he might have covered about 30 miles, Andrew, the week before to do this.
Wow.
Anyway, so when your head torch hits it, it shines up. But we didn't need a head torch, Andrew. Ross is like, do you know where you're going, Colin? And I was like, Ross, I've been up here. I'd recce the course. You'd recce the course, this part of the course with me.
That was the week
And
before. Yep.
The week before
we went up.
you'd recce that one. I had been previous weeks getting up early, Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings, going out and wrecking the course. So I knew it without my watch. So I said, that's okay, Ross, come with me. That's why I mentioned Ed the Jester. Andrew, I can't remember having any pain. I can't remember feeling any discomfort. I can't remember feeling anything other than I'm a guide for Ross and I'm taking him through this area. And do you know what? Ross and me chatted away, and we chatted about life, and we chatted about things, and we chatted about other stuff. And it's brilliant. So if you're ever in an ultra race, you're getting it tough, get someone who's getting it just as tough. And when two has come together, it balances out, and everyone seems to be okay. And we started to claw back time, and people, Andrew, I started to see people ahead of me again.
And this was 7:30. You hit the wind
was
farm
7:30.
7:30. So what's that? 3.5 hours.
Like
compared
3.5
to what we were
hours,
doing
yeah.
last year in the light, because that was the toughest section. Those next few hours from the
Oh.
wind farms over the bogs, over the mountains. I don't know where we were calling, but
we were so slow.
we were so slow. So
this-
to get
this time-
to do all this in the light, it must have been magical.
And yeah, and the previous week, Andrew, I had taken you through the bogs again, and you had said, Colin, we near done this. And I go, like, you tend to exaggerate, Andrew. You know you do. Andrew, the crewman, good man, is a bit of an exaggerator.
I don't know about
And
that.
we do this. We're doing this like 5 times faster, and it did actually feel like 5 times faster. I'm gonna flip back. Sorry, I forgot about something. I'm gonna flip back to the half marathon point in the race at Ballantoy. So all the way back. This is a bit that actually cheered me up. I came out of Ballantoy, okay? And I was running up the path, and Andrew was in the car park, and as I went into the toilet, I needed to do the number one. It wasn't the bad toilet. The second toilet was a bad toilet. And Andrew, you'd packed my bag and stuck a few more bits in it for me. And then I came out, put my stuff back on. I was going again. And then the road out is the same road in, and you drove up beside me. And I looked across. I thought, why is my jumper hanging out your window?
Hoodie. Was your hoodie
not
out
exactly,
the window?
it's not exactly warm that you need to keep the car cool. What on earth? I looked across you and I said, Andrew, my jumper's out the window. What are you doing? And you kind of looked at me. Oh, I'll tell you about it later. And then
You'll find out in the Crewman Chronicles.
You'll find. Shall we leave it for the Crewman Chronicles? Why my jumper was out the window?
No, we'll say it now. It is.
We'll say it now.
So, because now, in fairness, I was trying to be like, I'm not joking, Colin. I watched 2 YouTube videos. I didn't tell you this. I chat GPT'd how to be a good crewman, and it gave me like 20 points. I won't lie, I read 3 of them, and I thought I'll come back to the others. They're quite long. I never came back to the other ones, but like I did do a bit of research. But I have to say, where I learned about crewing was from doing the event last year with the people from We Run Wild NI. They're exceptional. You see the people that offered us stuff from their boots, and like the other crewmen, crew people, crew women, they were exceptional. So I was learning from the best. So I don't joke, sorry. I was trying to be the very best crewman. Andrew, the crewman I could. I was taking it very seriously and was trying to do my best.
Things happen, Andrew. Things happen.
Colin.
So I looked over and I said, Andrew, I know exactly what's happened. Because that day there was.
You said, is your window put in?
I thought maybe someone's broke your window because I couldn't see it. It was a far window, and I was going, what's going on? And so in the back of the car, I had these boxes, and I thought, I wonder if something happened. And I thought, I wonder if a bottle leaked and went over it. No, it was your own flipping coffee in my clothes. So spare clothes. One of the most important things you need in an ultra marathon is spare, dry, nice, tidy, clean clothes. Andrew Crewman, the good man, had just thrown his coffee all my box. That's the way I seen it.
I made a lovely coffee in the caravan. Okay. I then put the lovely coffee in. It was a nice wee coffee
Flask.
flask, wee small one. And little did I know the top was not on it fully correct. So I put it in the spare clothes box, which looking back wasn't ideal. Okay. And when I got the
All
port ballot,
boxes,
no,
Andrew.
when I got to the
Andrew,
first aid station,
Can I
first
also
no,
say something? No,
Yes.
no, I'll stop you there. My other boxes had square bits in them, so
they did. It was
everything's
lovely. You'll
slotted
see it
in.
in the Chronicles, the Crewman Chronicles. You'll
Oh, do
see.
you?
I don't know where. I don't know where. Oh, you see a lot in the Crewman Chronicles. I'm not even joking. But the boxes are fantastic, and you're right, Colin. In hindsight, why did I not put it back or put it in the place it should have done? We'll never know, Colin. We'll never know. But just so you know, it was in there. Not the first aid station. I said the first time I met you, I went into the back and I was like, oh no, because I picked up my coffee and it was half drunk. Here's me, well, Colin hasn't been here to drink it. No one else has drunk it. And my first thought was, happy days. There's still half here. So at least I have half a coffee. So it wasn't a complete washout. And then I thought, well, if I've half a coffee, where's the other half gone? And then I looked and I was like, oh no, that's your spare clothes box. So I lifted up your hoodie and it was drenched, Colin. It was drenched in coffee. And
Oh, I
under that
know.
hoodie was all your spare clothes. And thankfully, I was so relieved. There was none. There was no coffee in your spare clothes. So I decided what every good crewman would do. I rolled down the window a bit, and then I put your hoodie in the window, and then rolled it up. And we were going all around the north coast. You said it was good weather. It was a windy day. By the time we got to Port Ballantrae, the half marathon stage, it was clean. It was dry. It smelled of coffee quite a bit, but a good crewman knows what to do sometimes when the crewman makes mistakes with
But
coffee.
what would you have done if it was on my clothes? Would your car have been going with all these clothes out the
Of course they would have done, Colin. Of course they would have done. I would have put
hanging off the wing mirrors?
I would have put not in the wing mirrors because then they would fly off. I would have put down all the windows a bit. I would have tucked them all in. I would have put all the windows up, and then I would have drove, and it would have looked like what can only be described as a car, or what do you call it, like a clothesline on wheels. Okay, going through the north coast, and you have to improvise. You have to improvise, Colin. You have to think on your feet. A crewman has to think on his feet.
He does. He does. And he also has to not spill coffee over his runner's clothes.
And we know that, Colin. Now we know that. Now we had a toilet. You know what I mean? We had a toilet story last year.
I can't believe that wasn't apparent before the actual flipping event.
Colin, stuff happens. Stuff happens, and now we know. The important thing is, I had half a coffee still left.
So I'm with Ross in the wind farms, and we're rocking through. And the wind farms actually look different because there was rain the previous week. The green and all the grass had all grown up. Everything was lush, which made the trail look actually a bit more claustrophobic and a bit more different to when I ran it. We got out of the wind farms, we got out of everywhere, and it started to get dark, Andrew, up at Dungiven Viewpoint. But me and Ross made a call.
What was that called? Now, Dungiven Viewpoint is near Dungiven, which is near the Dungiven aid station, which is the second aid station.
So this is where we kind of are. So we're coming maybe 60 miles in, 50 to 60 miles in. No, maybe closer to 60 miles in. So we're coming to 60 miles in.
About 60 miles in at this stage.
And it started to get dark. And me and Ross are beside each other. And like, we run wild and I hold my hands up. Maybe it should have been a better decision to do this. But we didn't put our head torches on, Andrew.
Right.
Because I had to stop to go into my bag to fish out a head torch. Andrew, my plan was to not stop. I was behind from 20 miles. So I said, Ross, how do you feel? Do you feel like we should go on? He goes, yeah, it's okay. So I put my phone the other way around, put it in my chest pocket, put the light out, and I could see. And we came across Sean.
You didn't want to take your bag off, get head torches on, and put them on something that might take 3 minutes.
To a normal ultra runner, Andrew, my bag's in a mess. You had packed it, I'm sure.
You were going for it then, just to let people know. Like, that is a 3-minute job, if even. So you just decided, I don't even want 3 minutes. I want to keep these 3 minutes.
I'm so close to the aid station. I'm down
Right.
that big
Here,
hill.
Colin, don't tell me about being close to an aid station on Dungiven and waiting. You know what I mean?
Andrew,
That's a
down.
throwback of of not going to the toilet last year. If you don't know, listen to last year's podcast.
Oh, Andrew, yeah, I'll flip me. So, Dungiven aid station, we're up, we're coming. You know what? It was a different day because we weren't that high up. It wasn't that late. It might have been. We must have been touching 11 o'clock at that stage, Andrew. Yes, we did because Ross was saying, "Colin, second aid station before 12 o'clock." He goes,
Crazy.
"That is lightning." Ross
Crazy.
Ross couldn't get over himself.
I think we made it in at like 5 or half 5 last year. So now you're approaching 5.5 hours quicker than what we were
So,
last year. What was
so
holding you back, Colin? What was holding you back last year?
I
We'll
have
never
no
know.
idea, Andrew.
Continue.
I had no idea.
Continue.
Getting my headlight out. That's what was holding me back. That
Could
headlight
well be.
fiasco. But yeah, so I know I'm talking a lot about Ross in this episode. But me and Ross, we had a journey together at this middle section that he wasn't with me. I think we were with each other, and we were just going really well, really strong. Dungiven viewpoint. If you don't know, you come up to the viewpoint and then you can see Dungiven ahead of you. You can see where the aid station is, and then it's downhill from there. Downhill with my wee chest on light, and I thought, if my phone battery dies, I've got a charger, in the aid station, and all my stuff. I can charge it in the aid station. Sorry.
And it was in your
And
back
then-
too, because you had to bring one. So
Yeah.
there was one in your back, and then I had 3 with me in the aid station.
So then we got down to the aid station, and
Do you know what, Colin? I think
You were
that's a good
there?
time. I was there. I was there this time. I was in the aid station. I was actually in the aid station for a good while, and I was chatting to some of the other crew people.
what were you doing in
And,
the aid station?
Well, Colin, see those 24 bottles or 23, no, 22 bottles that was had all that stuff in it. I went
that's
into
nice
the aid
stuff.
station with a big crate of water, and everyone looked at me. And I just went over to the what do you call that? The sink, and
Yeah.
I poured them all out, rinsed them all, and then filled them up with water again. And then I did what's one of the highlights for me. I got 2 sips, really nice sip in the aid
Tell us about
station.
your soup.
And,
People, hold on. See, when you go back and you're pouring them down the drain, people are probably looking at you going,
Well, at this stage,
the
you
runner-
were, you were doing well. I think at this stage, there was a few people had been in and out. The top three of this race were lightning, Colin. Okay,
top 3 were
First, second,
brilliant. A
third.
big
'Cause
shout
we-
out to them guys because they're brilliant. They're athletes, they're runners. One Pierre was French. Who was first?
they
Was it
were-
Lee
the
was
great thing about-
first.
We didn't know this last year because we're us, but last year and this year you could track. There's a tracker. Everyone had the GPS tracker, but little did we know people could follow us. We didn't know that last year. If you go into the
Give me a
Facebook
bit
page
of kit.
of you could actually see who was first and second. All you could see everyone and where everyone was, and it was amazing. It was amazing for me for crewing because I was able to see how far away you were from Dungiven, and I knew exactly. I was making you pot noodles. I knew exactly when to put those pot noodles on for you and Ross. So yeah, that those wee trackers were brilliant. So the first 3 people were in and out by the time you were there. Maybe 1 or 2 more. Maybe 1 or 2 more. But when I got there, they were just waiting. They were just waiting for the next crowd of people. And I have to say, I had a bit of crack, and I had a bit of banter. And Karen, who gave me her dry coat last year, she was there, and I gave her a big hug, and I said, "Thank you, Karen. You don't know how much that meant to me," because she was saying, "It was right here, Andrew. You lay down," and then somebody said about the toilet story, and then I had to tell it all again. So I was having good fun with my soup, just waiting for you, Colin, just waiting for you to come through that
And
door.
See, when you come through that door just before we round up for this episode, and the Ardiclave door, which is the other first aid station, see the round of applause you get, Andrew.
Oh,
You walk
definitely.
in and everyone cheers and everyone
Brilliant.
like runners, no matter who it is. And then whenever you get your
Brilliant.
bag on and you're facing the door, you're ready to go out. You then get another
Yeah.
cheer to go. And see that cheer, Andrew? That cheer just gives you the energy. It's like someone might as well have injected you with Red Bull or Protein Rebel right into the veins. I'll say Protein
Yep.
Rebel because they are the sponsors of the show, into your veins, and it's brilliant.
Those people at the aid stations, I've never seen anything like it, Colin, and I mean that. Unbelievable. Absolutely unreal. So I was sitting down, having my soup, waiting for you. I think that's a good point to end, Colin. It's a good point to end.
I end on you, obviously, not on me.
No, I was waiting on you. So we're really ending on you. We're now waiting. When's Colin coming? I'm sitting there with soup, nothing to do with me. Two
You got
soups.
two things of soup.
I was very hungry, Colin. I'm
With
really
different
crew man,
flavors.
crew
I only
man.
got
Nope.
one soup.
Lovely soup, both the same soups. Very nice. Very nice. So that'll do us for this episode. So Colin, that's part 1. I think this will be a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it
I
obviously
think
is.
so.
And
I
so
think so,
a
Andrew.
2-parter, I think a week later, or maybe a few days later, it'll come out. We'll record in a day or 2, and I'm looking forward to hearing how you get on. I'm going to get back to editing the Crewman Chronicles. So until the next time, my name's Andrew.
And my name's Ultra Colin.
And we'll see you in the next episode of
Idiots Go
Running.
Back at it again, the 108 mile. Colin laced up, but his head said wait. Dizzy and sick, the plan fell flat, but he hit that 8 stop and bounced right back. Andrew the crewman, good man, self-titled, filming some moments like anyone can. Spilled hot coffee all over the gear. Now his car's trying close while he's shifting a gear. One with fire, one drove like a star, a close horse on wheels, chasing dreams from afar. Under 24, a mighty high bar. Find out next time how our heroes fare.
Idiots Go Running will return in Colin's 108-mile ultramarathon, Part 2.